Our physical bodies serve as highly sensitive laboratories for subtle bioenergetics. Yet, a recurring anomaly exists in these spaces. Practitioners who engage in intense meditation and yogic exercises frequently experience severe physical and psychological destabilization. Modern spiritual communities often celebrate these traumatic crises, mislabeling chaotic psychological breaks as mystical Kundalini awakenings. Looking at the primary texts, we see these chaotic experiences are not spiritual milestones at all. They are predictable mechanical system failures within the subtle body. The entire system is governed by three thermodynamic variables: prana, which acts as kinetic energy and velocity; Tejas, the radiant power and fire; and ojas, the material capacity and water. Expanding the limits of the nervous system safely requires maintaining an exact thermodynamic and electrical equilibrium between these three forces. Pushing one specific energy to its maximum without simultaneously developing the material infrastructure to handle it guarantees a catastrophic system failure. We can model this problem using a strict electrical circuit. Ojas is the foundational substrate. The text explicitly defines ojas as the watt capacity of our light bulb, representing the physical limit of the mind and nervous system. This capacity is slowly accumulated and fortified through basic lifestyle groundwork, maintaining a pure diet, cultivating equanimity, and controlling sexual energy. Tejas acts as the raw voltage of the system. It is the internal fire of discrimination, perception, and focused attention pushing into the circuit. Prana is the velocity of that electrical current, the speed at which the energy moves through the internal pathways. This creates a strict mathematical rule. Any increase in power from Tejas and velocity from prana requires a proportional material increase in ojas to contain it. When practitioners force high-level yogic techniques without this foundational grounding, the current exceeds the physical limits of the hardware. The text uses a precise metaphor. If you increase Tejas and prana, but not ojas, it is like trying to put 1,000 watts into a 100-watt light bulb. The bulb will merely burst. A lack of foundational ojas is the mechanical root cause of almost all meditational disorders today. The hardware simply melts down. To avoid this meltdown, these energies must correctly combine within the sushumna, or central channel, which functions as an internal alchemical reactor. The core thermodynamic formula for safe practice is specific. The ascending fire of Tejas, the mother, melts the descending nectar of Ojas, the father. This exact reaction generates prana of the highest order, the child. This physical process has a direct cognitive equivalent in the practice of mantra, which unites the mind, representing Ojas, with speech, representing Tejas. Alternatively, it is achieved by aligning raw emotion with the rigorous power of discrimination and inquiry. When these forces perfectly unite, the resulting consciousness clears the mind field of its accumulated impressions, expanding into infinite space. It is this specific, controlled internal reaction that safely clears psychological debris. Erratic stimulation of the nervous system alone achieves nothing. When that internal reaction fails because a practitioner lacks adequate ojas, the result is a mechanical derangement of specific values, or subtle winds. We can trace specific symptoms directly to these failures. A sudden loss of equilibrium and irregularity in the digestive system maps to the failure of the samana vayu, the equalizing air. Uncontrolled movement of the limbs and tremors indicate a derangement of the vayana vayu, the diffusive air. Spontaneous coughing or uncontrollable speech issues point directly to a malfunction of the ascending udana vayu. Other symptoms stem from temperature imbalances. Burning sensations in the head, acute sensitivity to light, and extreme irritability indicate a critical excess of Tejas. If uncontrolled energy enters the solar channel, Pingala Nadi, it generates massive heat and immense pride. Conversely, if energy enters the lunar channel, Ida Nadi, it creates excess kapha, causing rapid weight gain and unstable emotional states. Because of these mechanical risks, individuals with naturally low ojas, specifically those with air-predominant vata or fire-predominant pitta constitutions, must exercise extreme caution with intense practices. The requirement for disciplined, long-term practice has led many to seek synthetic spiritual shortcuts through recreational and psychedelic drugs like LSD and psilocybin. The mechanical effect is precise. They temporarily increase Tejas by artificially heating the system, but in doing so, they aggressively burn up the body's Ojas. Once Ojas is depleted below a threshold, the physical infrastructure is compromised. It becomes incredibly difficult to rebuild, ending the capacity for spiritual practice. Despite the initial burst of perception, these substances act like an artificial shock. In the long run, they are tamasic, rendering the mind progressively duller. True meditation is a process of dehypnotizing the mind and stripping away conditioning. Drugs do the exact opposite, introducing heavy external conditioning and embedding internal toxins deep within the tissues. Chemical shortcuts do not bypass the rules of the subtle body. They permanently damage the critical Ojas infrastructure required for genuine, sustainable development. The text provides a clear solution, referring to it as the solar yoga. It is the simplest and most integral method, meditating upon the inner self as the spiritual sun located in the heart. This requires a simultaneous protocol. The practitioner develops prana through breathwork, Tejas through focused mantra, and continuously rebuilds Ojas through pure diet and devotion. When cultivated together, these energies settle into their final configuration. The flame of Tejas takes up its ultimate abode in the root of the heart. Ojas descends to permeate the entire physical body, while prana serves as the underlying energy connecting them all. The ultimate goal of yoga is not the pursuit of external magic, sudden powers, or psychedelic visions. It is a natural, spontaneous return to our own inherent nature. You must build the physical capacity of Ojas before lighting the fire of Tejas. Respecting these thermodynamic laws ensures that the laboratory of your psychophysical complex remains a site of steady evolution rather than sudden destruction.